What he's saying is before you even plan a program of education, you must study the meaningful thematic within which people exist. But you cannot study it as an inert body that exists out there. The thematic actually is part of people's lives, right? And people must decipher it. Because the purpose of this plan is to create a kind of educational model that initiates and sustains change. So if you're a researcher who's afraid of change and wants to maintain the status quo, you will be not the kind of teacher that Freire is trying to train. Now, in order to understand a thematic, then what he's saying is that people must be involved in it, right? They must think through it, they must think about it critically, and they must work together with the researcher in discussing and deciphering any given thematics. That you can't just study one thematic here and one over here. You must study the totality of the system in which various generative thematics exist because they are interconnected. So this interconnectedness is a huge part of it. So overall, when we have abstracted the reality, looked at it critically, and gone back to the reality has not changed yet. We haven't set upon that task yet. But we must first change the perception of that reality and our own place in it, and people's place in it. But that cannot be taught top-down, that they must learn in the process of this investigation as co-investigators. Now, when we do that, then what have we learned? We have found out what is the meaningful thematics of a given space, how is it connected to other epochal or regional thematics. And when we have found that out, then along with the people, we can devise a problem solving and a problem posing mode of education. Now let's just see what examples could we use. Let's say you go into an urban poor community. Maybe they have a thematics of muteness. They have internalized that this is their place in life. They don't deserve better. And if you offer them a picture of a world in which you show them and other people who are affluent, maybe they'll see it as natural. But when we start discussing that picture, to start discussing that story, it will make them aware of the dichotomy within the picture, right? Within the story. And then we take that story to their lived conditions and they think about it critically. And in the process, they then realize their own place in that given thematic of an hierarchical order in which they are poor. Now, this isn't just about education as I read it. I mean, keep in mind that the struggle in Marxism has always been how would workers become aware of their own exploitation. But there was no didactics for it. Some people thought that, a vanguard would emerge and they will train the other workers. The others thought that the Communist Party would do that. But here, what Freire is doing is actually a didactics aimed at figuring out what the given of everyone's life is, or what they believe to be the given. Then an attempt at involving them in discussing the very given and see how it is structured. And then, with that reflection, developing a mode of research and pedagogy that is transformative, that enables people to articulate the system in which they exist and then change it.